Alrighty, so we are going to chat tonight about essential oil infused CBD. We're going to talk about Young Living's Nature's Ultra products. So this can get a little scientific, and I'm really going to try not to go down that road, but you know me, and sometimes that happens. So anything I talk about tonight is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. I'm going to talk about my research about CBD and why we add essential oils to them and why this can be very beneficial for you. And this is just a little bit about me for those who are watching the recording who may be unfamiliar with me, but this has been a really fascinating topic for me to study as a health coach, because it's not just a fad. I mean, it is becoming a real staple in communities around the world. And what I really want you to understand is to have the knowledge, to feel empowered, to know what CBD is and how you can utilize it with your health regimen. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm an attorney who's an energy healer and a health coach. Now that's bizarre all on its own. So if you really want to dig into this even deeper, this is the book by my friend, Dr. Oliver Wenker, The Power of CBD and Essential Oils. This is absolutely the book to get if you want to learn about CBD in general and what happens when you add essential oils to it. I devoured this book in a day when it came out a couple of years ago. It is that good, and it is packed with research. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. He is really an expert in the field and has really driven Young Living into the CBD world. Because I'll be honest with you, when they first got into it, I was confused. I'm like, what are they doing? Well, now I know. And by the time I am done explaining what our CBD is, hopefully you'll have a better understanding of why Young Living went down this road. All right, so let's just dive right into it. What is CBD? Well, it is not marijuana. It is not. Okay, so CBD and marijuana, they are from the same plant called cannabis or hemp, but they are different species. So you got CBD over here, the hemp, and you got marijuana over here. They are two very, very different plants. The marijuana plant is produced when the hemp plant, there's a male and a female variety of these plants. And so when the marijuana plant is grown, it doesn't have the male variety of the plant. It's just all female parts to it. It's got these little hair-like appendages that are full of THC, which is the psychotropic drug that is within marijuana. So marijuana has all the female parts, none of the male parts. CBD, on the other hand, when that is grown from hemp, it has both the female and the male parts. And so the resin from the plant is full of cannabidiol or CBD, which does not have the same heavy psychoactive effects of THC, which is what a lot of people are really afraid of, is the THC. Now, CBD in general can contain THC. There are only certain varieties that don't have it. And what's interesting is there are about 113 compounds in a hemp plant. Think of a compound as a puzzle piece. There's 113 pieces building that hemp puzzle. CBD is just one of them. So the hemp plant has a lot of benefits to it, and CBD is just one part of it. Now, CBD has been really controversial because it was illegal. You know, was it a bad thing and that's why it was illegal? Well, this is fascinating. So hemp originally came out of Asia and the Middle East thousands of years ago, and it has really spread worldwide. And it showed up here in the United States back in the 16th century. And, farmers used to be fined if a certain percentage of their crops were not hemp plants, because hemp plants are very beneficial to the soil. The one thing that hemp plants do is they leach toxins and other nasty things right out of the soil. They clean the soil. They are very, very beneficial. So, historically, hemp has been used for paper, for food, for fiber, for construction materials, for clothing. But the thing that I find amazing is that it absolutely detoxes dirt. In fact, there's a lot of hemp fields now in the old tobacco fields in North Carolina, because the old tobacco fields left behind arsenic in the ground, and the hemp fields are now cleaning it up. So that's fascinating to me. So back in the 1920s, there was like this negative media war that was waged on hemp or marijuana. They were really linking the two together. And it was all for financial reasons. And, eventually hemp and marijuana were deemed a Schedule I controlled substance. Okay, just by comparison, this is coming to you as a former prosecutor. A Schedule I controlled substance is something like heroin, LSD, and they put hemp and marijuana in that category. So it was that way from the 1920s up until July of 2018. That was a long time that it had a really nasty label on it. And in July of 2018, CBD was downgraded from a Schedule I controlled substance to a Schedule V controlled substance. So a Schedule V controlled substance is no big deal. Like, there's no potential for abuse. I mean, it's not like the heavy hitting drugs. So the FDA changed the category so that they could approve the first and only CBD drug. It's called Epidiolex, and it helps with seizures. And that's why they changed it, because they knew what CBD was doing in this special form for seizures. And so they needed a change. They got it. Well, 6 months later, in December 2018, CBD went from that Schedule V controlled substance to an unscheduled substance. And that was due to the Hemp Farming Act of 2018, which actually removed hemp. Hemp is cannabis with less than 0.3% of THC, 0.3%, 0.3%. So this Hemp Farming Act removed hemp and cannabis as a controlled substance. So that meant that federal law allowed CBD to be legal in all 50 states. Now, some states have their own regulations, so it's really important to know your state's regulation. And if you're in the military, there actually are still some strict regulations. So you got to do your research before you buy it. But that's just kind of the short history of CBD, and why even to this day, when people hear CBD, they think marijuana. No, because the hemp plant can go in two directions. It can go to CBD or it can go to marijuana. Okay, they're not the same thing, but this is kind of what media has done to make us think that CBD is marijuana, and it's not. Absolutely, absolutely not. Even the CBD that has THC in it, not marijuana. All right, so this is fascinating when I first learned about this, because I had no clue that our body had an endocannabinoid system. And this is a biological system, like we have a cardiovascular system, we have a nervous system, we have a digestive system, we have all these different systems. Well, we have an endocannabinoid system. And this system is composed of endocannabinoids in our body. And believe me, this is where I can go down a rabbit hole and I can get all sciencey, but in basic terms, this system is linked to your central nervous system and your peripheral nervous system to help your body maintain homeostasis, which is health. So what does that mean? Your endocannabinoid system regulates your appetite, pain, your mood, your memory, everything your nervous system does, like breathing, blood flow, digestion. It regulates your immune system, your inflammatory response, your energy, sleep, your reproduction, your motor control, your temperature, pain and pleasure. I mean, that's a lot. That's like almost everything that this endocannabinoid system is responsible for. Now, when any of these get out of whack, this endocannabinoid system will send out endocannabinoids and enzymes to bring it back into balance. So if you get too hot, you get overheated, your endocannabinoid system kicks into gear. It sends out endocannabinoids and enzymes, and you start to sweat. That brings your body temperature down. If you get too cold, it sends out endocannabinoids and enzymes, and you shiver to warm yourself up. If you get hungry, it sends them out to make your stomach growl so that you eat. When you get tired, it sends out the endocannabinoids so that you yawn and take in more oxygen, because when you oxygenate your body, it wakes it up. So our body makes endocannabinoids, but are you making enough? If you are not, disease will set in. And that's where we can get into some trouble. So let's talk about this THC versus CBD. And I'm going to talk about it in relation to what is known as cannabinoid receptors. And there are two primary cannabinoid receptors in our body. There's CB1 and CB2. And there's likely more, but these are the two big ones in our body. So CB1 receptors are in our central nervous system. So they're in our brain and they are in the nerves of the spinal cord. And the CB2 receptors are all over the body in the peripheral nervous system. So that's the nerves in all of your extremities, in your arms, your hands, your fingers, your legs, your toes. It's in your digestive system and specialized cells in the immune system. Okay, so we've got these receptors, CB1, CB2. THC, that is the psychoactive compound that is in cannabis, the hemp plant. So THC acts on both the CB1 and the CB2 receptors. And what they do is they go right in and they attach to the receptors. So when the THC attaches to CB1 in the brain, because remember CB1 is the brain and the nerves in the spinal column. When it attaches to that CB1 in the brain, it causes the intoxicating effect that people get when they smoke marijuana. It also affects the peripheral nervous system because it'll attach to CB2. And that's why some people, when they smoke marijuana, they'll feel calmer. It decreases pain. It triggers appetite because it's working on all of those other peripheral nervous system areas, including the digestive system. So, it's why cancer patients receiving chemotherapy are prescribed medical marijuana, because the effects of it work on the CB2 digestive system for nausea, works on the CB1 pain receptors in the body. This is why they're prescribed it, because it goes right into those receptors and does its job. Now, it's really important to note that exposure to THC does have risks, such as developing schizophrenia. You can fail a drug test. You can get wrapped up in illegal drug activity based on whatever your state's position is on that. And some people are just genetically more sensitive to THC, which is why so many people are looking for CBD products that don't have THC in them. Now, CBD binds differently in these CB1 and CB2 receptors, and it binds differently by modifying the receptors so that they can bind to CBD, not to the THC. So as a result, CBD does not make you high, like if you're taking marijuana, because of how it binds to the receptors. Okay, but wait, there's more. Terpenes. Okay, this is where it becomes really fascinating of why essential oils are added to CBD. Because terpenes are a big, big deal. So terpenes are a constituent that are found in essential oils naturally. Terpenes, essential oils are full of all these parts and pieces. So again, think of an essential oil like a puzzle. You have all of these parts and pieces. And when you put all the parts and pieces together, that puzzle shows you lavender or peppermint or lemon. Terpenes actually give plants their aroma. So the fragrant imprint of a plant is a result of different combinations of terpenes. Now, terpenes are believed to have many positive effects on the body. And there are several known terpenes that have been studied that all show different medicinal effects on the body. Now, overall, terpenes contribute to the medicinal properties of cannabis, a phenomenon that is known as the entourage effect. This is important because CBD doesn't have the impact on the body unless it has an entourage effect. And it needs terpenes to do that. I want you to think of entourage effect like a team of players, like a soccer team, versus having a single player. The team is the entourage effect of the terpenes and the cannabinoids working together toward a win. If you just had one person playing on the field, it'd be really hard for them to win that game. And that's what the terpenes does. So guess what is full of terpenes? Many essential oils. So when you start adding essential oils to CBD, you add the terpenes to the cannabinoid, and you can get that entourage effect, that cascading effect in the body of hitting the receptors and creating that wellness. It's like a domino effect, okay? All right, so how do you choose CBD? Now, you know, if you're watching this, you know, you're probably in Young Living, but I really want you to understand why the difference between the other CBD products on the market and what we're using with Nature's Ultra, because this is what really did it for me when I started learning this stuff. So, like I mentioned, farmers love to grow hemp plants because it pulls toxins and heavy metals out of the soil. And, you know, I mentioned it's being grown in the old tobacco fields in Kentucky. Because an unfortunate byproduct of the tobacco fields is that the soil is leached with arsenic. So they're putting the hemp plants in there to clean the ground. That's awesome. That is phenomenal. Like, oh my gosh, plant hemp everywhere. Let's clean up the soil. However, it's you want to be careful using those hemp plants. So CBD is everywhere. I mean, I am not kidding. I am finding it at gas stations. We had, yeah, Chris, I see you nodding your head. We had a local video store, and it went out of business recently, but they used to sell CBD. It's like, I'm sorry, you're kind of like Blockbuster. What are you doing selling CBD? Quality is really important, but it's more than the quality, because any company can say whatever they want about their quality, doesn't make it true. Here's where you really need to understand the difference between full spectrum CBD, CBD isolate, and smart spectrum. Okay, let's start with full spectrum, because this is a majority of what you're going to find on the market. Full spectrum CBD still has some trace THC in it. Even the ones that say 0% THC, really not possible for it to be 0%. If they can get it below a certain percentage, they can say 0%, but it doesn't mean 0%. And that can be problematic for people who have to go through drug testing. So with full spectrum, while you won't get the psychogenic effects of straight THC that comes from marijuana, there still is a possibility of exposure. Here's the thing, full spectrum uses the whole hemp plant, the whole plant. I want you to think back to what I said about hemp being grown in fields to leach out toxins and heavy metals. Where do you think the toxins and heavy metals go? They go into the plant. All right, so full spectrum uses the whole plant. Red flag number one. Red flag number one. Now, by using the whole plant, that's why it can contain THC. But the whole plant, the positive side of that is that the whole plant contains the benefits of terpenes, because you have to have terpenes for that entourage effect. Also has chlorophyll in it, which is so good for the body. So there's pros and cons. Now, full spectrum tends to really taste unpleasant. And there's no standard of what full spectrum means. So while the THC should be below 0.3%, 0.3%, many companies are mixing in other things, and you don't know what you're going to get until you take a drug test. And for some people, it's too late by the time you test positive. And THC can accumulate in the body. Now, traces of heavy metals and toxins are absorbed from the soil into the plant. And when they are using the full plant, the root, the stems, the leaves, everything, that's going into the final product. That concerns me in a big, big way, because you're getting all the parts and pieces, you're getting all the benefits of the hemp plant, including the terpenes, which you need, but you're taking the bad along with the good, okay? Now, a lot of people gravitate toward full spectrum because of the terpenes in it and all the other compounds, because it has a very powerful entourage effect. But what else are you getting with it? Are you pulling those heavy metals and those toxins right into your body? It's a really good question. A question that these companies, when I research them, they are not talking about it. And they should be, and that makes me very suspicious. All right, now the other way to produce CBD is in its isolated form. So CBD isolate is pure CBD. It is a pure crystalline powder that contains 99% pure CBD and only CBD. That is it. It is just CBD. All the plant matter, including the oils, the terpenes, the waxes, the chlorophyll, all the beneficial things, all the heavy metals, all the toxins, everything is removed because it is stripped down to its pure form, and it is just CBD powder. And a reputable company will use an intricate extraction process called supercritical CO2. That's how you do it. So you can actually consume a CBD isolate without fear of testing positive for drugs because they literally strip everything out of it. Now, the military still bans CBD, even a CBD isolate, but for people who are not in the military but still need to have a negative drug test, they can use CBD isolate and be really assured that there is no THC in there because it is stripped out in the supercritical CO2 process. So here's the thing. The isolate is a powder. It doesn't have any terpenes in it. So how do you get that entourage effect? You can't. From a just straight CBD isolate, you don't get the entourage effect. Well, then what's the point? That's the whole point of CBD, is you want that entourage effect, that cascading domino effect of healing in the body. Okay, so let's skip ahead to Smart Spectrum CBD. This is what Nature Ultra is. And it's where we take CBD isolate and we add in the terpenes from essential oils so that we can make a CBD product that has the entourage effect. It's actually broader and more robust in how it works. And not only do we add the terpenes, because terpenes with the CBD is the power of it. You have to have both of those in it. But it's also important to add a fatty oil. It's called an MCT coconut oil, which is really good for the brain. This is how you absorb it, is through the MCT oil. We use MCT oil, not hemp oil, in our CBD because the MCT, it's a medium chain triglyceride that is easily absorbed by the liver. The body actually has to work harder to absorb hemp oil. So there's a really, really popular CBD company out there. I'm not going to name names, but they boast about how they add hemp oil into their CBD. Hemp oil is really hard for the body to process and absorb. So just because it comes from the hemp plant doesn't mean it's superior when it comes to absorption. MCT coconut oil, the medium chain triglyceride coconut oil, is what is so easily absorbed by our liver. So Young Living takes their essential oils and puts the terpenes back into the CBD isolate. They don't put it in to flavor it. They put it in to create the entourage effect. And then they put in the MCT coconut oil for absorption. And that's why we call it a Smart Spectrum product, because it will latch to the CB1 and CB2 receptors that are all throughout your body. So again, to create the entourage effect, you need terpenes and you need the MCT coconut oil for absorption. And why you want to add those back in to a CBD isolate, the isolate takes out the THC, the heavy metals, the toxins, any junk that could be absorbed by the hemp plant, because remember, it's detoxing the soil. The CBD isolate process takes all of that stuff out and leaves you only with pure CBD. That's it. That's why we add the oils in for the terpenes and the MCT oil for the absorption. Because with full spectrum, you're getting THC and you're going to get the toxins that are coming out of the soil. Okay, so does that make sense? Because I'll tell you, full spectrum is everywhere. It is out there. That is the majority of what you're going to see. And I freak out a little bit when I see full spectrum being offered to animals. No, 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 no. Please don't. Please don't. All right. So how do you use CBD? Okay. In a little bit, I'm going to put my lawyer hat on, but right now I'm going to talk about how it is labeled for topical use, period. Topical. Now, when you get a product home, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You want to stick it up your nose, stick it up your nose. Do whatever you want. That's what I tell people with your essential oils. It's none of my business. But CBD is labeled for topical, and I will explain why shortly. But when you're topically using it, just put it on your skin. You can massage it in, and you can apply it with frequency until you feel a difference, okay? So you can apply it to your temples. You know, if something isn't feeling good, apply it there. You can put it on your temples, on your neck, on your knees, on that joint that is screaming your name all day long. You can put it on your wrists, especially if you're typing all day and your wrists start to ache. You can put it on the bottom of your feet. You can put it on your shoulders. You can put it wherever you want. Now, if you are sensitive to applying things topically, start out with half the amount and then increase. And, you know, it tells you on the bottle, you know, how much to use. And typically it's one full dropper at a time. Now, while this product is to be used topically, there's a couple things I want you to keep in mind when it comes to CBD safety. CBD is broken down in the liver, just like medication, just like essential oils, just like everything that goes through our body. And it's done by the same enzymes that a lot of pharmaceutical drugs are broken down by. So it's possible for your system to get a little overworked trying to break down too many things at once. So, you know, if you're like, well, really all of us who are on this live event, we are floating with essential oils. Seriously, who knows what we smell like on any given day? We are full of essential oils. So just realize this is adding one more thing for your liver to process. So, you know, start slow and see how you respond to it, okay? All right, so what is so great about Nature's Ultra and how they add the essential oils in? Well, quality is the most important. Honesty of the company, ethics and transparency are so important in a world where companies now are just saying whatever they want to say because they can get away with it. It makes lawyer Allie really upset. This drives me crazy. And because labeling laws are non-existent for CBD products, you really have to trust the company that you're ordering from, because remember, Full Spectrum takes the full plant that has pulled out all of the toxins and heavy metals from the earth. And if they tell you we've stripped it of all the toxins, well, then how is it still Full Spectrum? You can't have it both ways. It's either Full Spectrum or you stripped it of things. Which is it? I love getting into debates with CBD companies at expos because I ask them that question and they start stumbling over their words. And it's like, that's not honest. That's not honest. So the thing about Nature's Ultra, which Young Living bought, and they have an amazing hemp farm in Utah, is they are certified organic. They are non-GMO, they are gluten-free, they are vegan. They have the same seed to seal backing that Young Living puts behind every single one of their products. And our CBD products are the only CBD products on the market with Smart Spectrum CBD science. That is where we strip everything out. We have just the isolate. We add in the terpenes of the essential oils, and we add the MCT coconut oil for absorption. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is doing that. And nobody else has our essential oils. And we know what our essential oils do. So we just really ramp this up to a whole new level. So all of the Nature Ultra's products are tested in multiple stages throughout the manufacturing process to make sure that they are potent, they are pure, and they are what they say they are. Our Nature's Ultra CBD is derived from hemp plants that is actually, it's not grown in Utah, it's grown in Colorado. And we don't use any pesticides, just like all of our oil farms, totally pure. These products have been subjected to rigorous laboratory testing to make sure that it has the optimal maximum amount of CBD. It's free of heavy metals. We do test for that. How many companies do? We test to make sure that there's no heavy metals and no THC. We never use harsh chemicals in the manufacturing process because we have this extraction method where we can extract out the CBD and leave the junk behind. And no THC ever. No THC ever. So for people who have to go through drug testing, this is what they want to use. They don't want to take a chance with what's in the store, especially if it says full spectrum, 0% THC. Not possible. Not possible. That is misleading labeling. So research is still fairly limited with CBD, but what has come out, and again, I cannot recommend Dr. Wenker's book enough. I mean, he has, oh my gosh, it is ridiculous. 892 citations in his book. That's my kind of book. It is very research heavy, but there still is very limited research about CBD. But what has been found in the CBD research is that up to 85% of CBD products contain harmful pesticides, solvents, and other contaminants because they're full spectrum and they're pulling all that stuff out of the soil. Plus, they're using things in the growing process and in the extraction process that's not beneficial. 85% of products has harmful ingredients. Well, that just kind of destroyed the whole purpose of CBD, don't you think? And then there was a study back in 2017 that found that 20% of CBD products contained THC, even though the label said it didn't. 70% of online products were actually mislabeled. 43% were what's called underlabeled. They did not disclose the proper THC levels. They had more THC than what was disclosed, and 26% were overlabeled for CBD content, saying that they had more CBD than they actually had. And some actually had 0 CBD in the product, yet it was being sold as CBD. So dosing in these products was way off because the labels didn't match what was in the bottle. And then some people are like, well, this stuff doesn't work. Well, yeah, because you bought a product that had no CBD in it. And that's why it didn't work. So, you know, many people still believe that full spectrum is the better choice, especially when you're dealing with inflammatory issues. But you have to be careful about THC and understand that a lack of regulations can result in a spin the bottle effect. You don't know what you're getting, bottle to bottle to bottle. And for farms that say they have organic practices, do they tell you what the past practice was on the farm? Because when I look at companies that are growing their hemp in North Carolina, I know exactly what was on that land. It was tobacco. You cannot now tell me that it is organic. You cannot. Not possible. Absolutely not possible. The hemp hasn't cleaned that land enough. So
confront them about that, Allie? Did you ask them about that? Seeing as how you live there, did you ask them that?
Oh, I asked one company about it, and
what did they say?
She's like, oh, I'm unaware of that. And I said, you are growing your hemp in North Carolina. North Carolina is full of old tobacco fields. She's like, well, I don't think ours are. You think?
Yeah, she just backpedaled, huh? She couldn't, yeah.
She didn't know.
Okay.
She didn't know. And when I go to the company website, they say that their farms are in North Carolina, but they don't say anything about old tobacco farms. Well, anybody that knows about the tobacco industry and the sheer amount of land what they grew tobacco on in North Carolina, that's not being grown in North Carolina anymore. What do you think they're doing with that land?
Mhm.
They're filling it with hemp, which is the right thing to do. But then you got to be really careful. They need to turn that into CBD isolate and get all that junk out of it, but they're not. They're
Ah,
treating it as full spectrum.
right. Oh, boy.
So,
Very
yeah,
misleading, but they can get away with it. And I
they
don't know how
can.
they do, but I guess they do.
They can. Because
Because
there's,
people don't know. People don't know if they don't know.
they don't know what they don't know
They don't know what they don't know. Right.
because there's no regulation. There's no regulation of this. So, okay, so this is where lawyer Allie goes bananas. So CBD products are not FDA regulated. However, the FDA will and is regulating false and misleading claims and mislabeling. So let me read you this from the FDA website, which I confirmed yet again this afternoon to make sure that this was still true. It is currently illegal to put into interstate commerce, which means you transfer between states, a food to which CBD has been added, or to market CBD as or in a dietary supplement. Are you flipping kidding me? Do you know how many ingestible CBD products are on the market? Illegal. ILLEGAL. Boom. Flat out illegal. But wait, there's more. FDA has concluded that THC and CBD products are excluded from the dietary supplement definition under the Federal Food and Drug and Cosmetic Act. They cannot put CBD in anything that we ingest. It hasn't been approved yet. If you want to do it, you do it at your own discretion. FDA has outright said not allowed. How many ingestibles do you see in the market? Not just for humans, but pets.
So when you go to the store and they have CBD gummies, they really aren't supposed to do that. It's illegal.
Nope, can't do it. That is actually.
So what do you say to them? What do you say to them? What do you say to them?
I say, did you know that FDA has specifically prohibited CBD from being a dietary supplement or an ingestible? I get a lot of dumbfounded looks. Here's
what they do with it when they get home with it is, you know.
You can do whatever you want when you get home. Yeah. But right now, because they don't know what it does to our liver, they don't know. They said, you can put it on topically all you want, but not ingesting, because we don't know what it does to the liver. So it is specifically discussed in the Federal Food and Drug and Cosmetic Act, specifically outlined. And this is the FDA that does not regulate CBD, but they regulate the labeling. So there's a lot of companies that have gotten warning letters, but this is what concerns me the most about that. If a company is selling CBD, that's their business, right? Like they know CBD. How could they not know this? What else are they being deceptive about? What else can't you trust them about? So when I see them labeling 0% THC, really, I'm sorry, I don't trust you. I don't trust you because you don't even know enough about your industry to know that you can't sell your product to ingest. So I'm not going to trust you when you say 0% THC or no heavy metals and no toxins. I don't trust you at all. And that's how I really want people to start thinking when they see this and be outspoken about it. I have been kicked out of more stores because I photograph the CBD labels. And I just must have this nefarious look about me because, I mean, the store owner will come up to me and is like, can I help you? And I'm like, oh, I'm just taking some pictures. May I ask why? Oh yeah, I'm just checking out this product and I want to go home and research it. And I don't have pen and paper, so I take a picture. They know that something's not right because every single one has asked me to leave the store.
The lawyer Allie is gonna get spanked.
I'm going to end up in jail because I'm photographing CBD bottles.
I know.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I got into it the other week with a guy, and I said, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm literally photographing so that I can remember this company so that I can go home and research it. Why are you asking me to leave? And he's like, I think you're doing something that's not good. And I looked him right in the eyes and I said, you're selling a product that violates FDA regulations.
Ooh.
I said, do you want to take it off the shelves or do I need to make a call to FDA?
Oh my God.
It's like, do not push me, dude. Do not push me.
Oh my gosh.
So I am highly suspicious of companies that do this. And some of the most well-known, highly respected CBD companies out there are selling ingestibles. I don't trust you. I don't trust you because you can't do it. You can't do it. I mean, you can tell I'm getting a little worked up about this. It drives me bananas. It drives me bananas, and people don't know this. So be outspoken. And if you have friends using other CBD products, just drop the idea that, hey, did you know the FDA has specifically said that you can't ingest CBD? So you're taking this gummy or you're giving the CBD treat to your dog. What else is this company lying to you about? Are there hemp fields in North Carolina where they're sucking up the arsenic out of the soil? Good question, because I don't care what they say on their website. I don't care what they say when I call in. They're playing fast and loose with regulations. So seed to seal is so important. This is where the 28-year history of Young Living buying Nature's Ultra and throwing the weight of their seed to seal process behind it means absolutely everything. And that's why I like Nature's Ultra so much better, because I never worry that there's going to be THC in it, ever, 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 ever. There's no toxins or heavy metals because those get sucked out during the CBD isolate process. And the smart spectrum means broader, more robust, a more purposeful terpene profile with the essential oils than just CBD alone. So our entourage effect is so much more potent and powerful. And it's really easy to use. And here's the thing, before we had Nature's Ultra, I tried the #1 CBD brand in the country and it did nothing for me. I felt nothing. And I probably put heavy metals in my system and it makes me mad to this day. Okay, all right. I'm off my soapbox for the moment. So let's talk about what we got. What do we got? We got lots of options here. We have the CBD roll-on. This calm roll-on is amazing at the end of the day. It smells delicious. Oh, the eucalyptus with the frankincense and the lavender and the orange and the vetiver and the lang-a-lang. Oh my gosh, this is basically the calm your butt down roller. Calm your butt down. You've been hyped up all day. Chill it out. You know, Bachelor in Paradise is coming on tonight. Put on your calm roll-on and watch it. Calm your butt down, okay? So this creates a really peaceful environment. It will relax your mind. Have you ever tried to go to bed and your to-do list is still screaming at you? You had that happen? Yep, guess what? Calm roll-on right on the forehead. Woohoo! Thank you very much. Yeah, if you're dealing with stress, when we are stressed during the day, we don't make good decisions. Okay, you got to calm your brain down. CBD roll-on right on your brain. These are going to feed your brain and it's going to give you really, really good sleep. Now it comes in a 30 milligram or a 300 milligram or a 600 milligram. So the 300 milligram is when you've had a crazy day. And the 600 milligram is when you've had a really, 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 really crazy day. You need to calm down. Now, right now, my mother has been in assisted living for 18 months with late stage dementia, and she gets the Comroll-on a couple times a day, because dementia can create some aggressive behaviors and a lot of fear. I mean, your brain is misfiring and it can be very scary. And so she gets this. I mean, she also has lavender diffusing in her room, but the staff really swears by this to help her. So, you know, for people who are in that situation, I highly recommend the Comroll-on. And it smells great. Oh my gosh, it smells great. All right, let's talk about the joint and muscle balm. Okay, so, you know, when you use CBD topically in this lotion, this rub, you can target the sore, achy muscles that just don't feel good. It has a hot and cold sensation to it because it has menthol, and it's got camphor, clove, helichrysum, lemon, peppermint, tea tree, wintergreen. And oh my gosh, it feels like somebody is in there with their magic fingers and massaging. It is different than using Panaway and Deep Relief and Cool Azul. It is different. It feels like somebody is massaging. So, gosh, this was right before COVID hit. I was running a Young Living booth at a big women's expo, like 25,000 women come through this expo. And I started out day one. Oh my gosh, I was physically in so much pain, standing on cement. And it's like, how am I going to make it 3 days? I have never slathered on so much of the CBD muscle rub in my life. My bones ached from the inside out starting the first moment of the expo, and that kept me going. Because that is an event where I work every minute of the day, 3 10-hour days. And it did amazing things because I literally felt like my bones were disintegrating from the inside out. I don't know what was going on with me, but it absolutely saved the day. And it works like that. I was shocked at how fast it works. Now you have to keep reapplying it, but every time I reapplied it, it lasted longer and longer and longer and longer. So that's what I really like about the CBD. All right, let's go to, we have 3 different types of CBD oil options. So we have Cool Mint. So these are actually packaged in, you know, a nice dropper form, and you can drop your CBD wherever you want to drop it. You know, and a lot of people say, well, Allie, they're flavored with essential oils. That's a shame that we can't ingest them. Yeah, I can't recommend that you ingest them. You can do whatever you want. But the oils are very specific for doing certain things. So the Cool Mint contains Young Living's peppermint and spearmint oils, which are great for digestive issues. The CB2 receptor, the cannabinoid 2 receptor in our body, helps with digestive issues. All right, so this one is working on the CB2 receptor. The citrus version has grapefruit and orange essential oils. This is good for mood and emotions. That's both CB1 and CB2 receptors in our endocannabinoid system. That's good to know. And then cinnamon, this is the one that I have. Great for balancing the body and how it responds to stress. What does stress do to our body? It basically destroys our body. So the cinnamon is your overall, let's get everything balanced. Nothing is excessively doing this or depleted here. Everything is nice and homeostasis right down the center. Yeah, that's cinnamon. That's cinnamon. I use this one. I love this one. Now, you can add your own essential oils in. You can add whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. So you want to get some good sleep, you can add some lavender, you can add some frankincense. You know, you have some stress, maybe add some stress away. You need some respiratory support, add some thieves. You can add whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. You can be a mad scientist in the kitchen with your CBD. And a while back, we had an unflavored CBD. Do we still have that? I think that was like a special, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a holiday thingy or a convention thingy?
You're talking about the one for the animals? The unflavored one?
No, it was just this year. They came out with an unflavored where you could add your own oils. But I don't think we have it anymore. I'm wondering if it was a spring launch. I think it was during the spring launch they had it.
Let me check.
If that comes back, get it. Because you can add your own oils. That's the beauty. You can add your own terpenes right into it. So, you know, I'm going to send you the recording to this, but that is a screenshot you want to take. You want to keep this. You want to know what to put in. Because you can really create your own concoction with the CBD. So, and last but not least, oh, the CBD Beauty Boost. Oh my gosh. This has CBD, rose essential oil, tamanu oil, grapeseed oil, and sunflower oil. Oh my gosh. This helps with even skin tone. It reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It gives you a youthful glow. Every night, my friends, every night. I'm not kidding. I'm
addicted to that one. I love it.
Isn't it? It's amazing.
Yep.
Now it's going to be greasy. It's going to be greasy. I put it on first and then I put my moisturizer over it and the moisturizer. And I always go between whether it's Bloom or, you know, Sheer Lumet or the Sandalwood or the Art Intensive, but whatever moisturizer I put over it takes away kind of that greasy shine. But man, does this smell good. It smells good. This is how you get your rose. Is you get it in this. And I'll tell you, a little goes a long way. I've heard some people talk about using 2 droppers on your face. Oh my gosh, I could I could oil up a pig with 2 droppers. You do not need that much. Seriously?
Yeah, I use like a quarter of a dropper, maybe.
Yeah.
Just my entire face. Yeah.
Yeah, I use like 5 drops.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, 5 drops goes a long way. It is amazing for all skin types. Even if you have oily skin, oil eliminates oil. So this is really, really, really good. Oh my gosh, this is one of the most amazing beauty products you can use on your face, use it on your neck. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So I cannot say enough good things about it. This is part of my daily routine. And you're getting the CBD in your body. So thumbs up to that. All right, so Young Living still has 2 CBD starter kits, even though we don't need starter kits for somebody to join Young Living anymore. You can just join with whatever you want. These are a huge value. Oh my gosh. And I had it written down somewhere. Oh, and now I can't find it. It is a ridiculous percentage off. I mean, it's something like half off. Half off. If you were to individually price these are so low priced. You can get these. You can't order these on your subscribe to save, but you can do a one-time order, like if you're cashing in some points. Can't use points on these, but throw it in that order. Oh my gosh, this is the best value. It is such a huge discount to order it like this, because whether you get the 300 milligram or the 600 milligram, you're going to get the CBD roll-on, the muscle rub, and the CBD oil. It is a huge value than if you were to buy things individually. Huge value. So I cannot say enough good things about these starter kits. This is the way to go if you want to get started with CBD. All right, my friends, that is the end. And, just remember that every state is a little bit different on CBD. So please educate yourself on your CBD related laws in your state. And, if you can buy Nature's Ultra from Young Living and have it shipped to your state, then you're good. You're good. I know that there have been some restrictions. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. And then for those of you who are here live, if you have any questions, I'll take them. But for those watching the recording, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it.